actually a question that I get asked a lot by my challengers. Often it comes up when they go to the doctor and the doctor tells them that they're overweight. They give them either a body mass indicator number that they're supposed to go by, BMI, or a certain weight that they're supposed to be on a range. And so they get that number in their head and they feel that they are not successful unless the scale tells them that number. And so, my opinion on this is that we can become slaves to the scale. And to me, getting on the scale for a lot of women, it either sets your day up to be great or it sets your day up to be terrible. Especially if you've been doing all the right things, you've been eating healthy and exercising and drinking water, and you expect the scale to say one thing, and you get on there, and for whatever reason, it doesn't say what you think it should say. And for a lot of women, they just feel like, okay, well, you know what? I've been doing everything right and the scale is still not showing what it should, and so I might as well just eat whatever I want and sit on the couch today instead of going to my aerobics class. So, it's not to me a great indicator of what you're doing for your ultimate health. And so I would encourage you to use non-scale victories to help you determine if you're reaching your goals. For example, a pair of jeans that are your favorite, put them on once a week. And if they're starting to fit better, then you know you're moving in the right direction. Being able to run to the top of the steps and not be out of breath, being able to move up in your weights, being able to lift heavier than you used to be able to. Being able to play with your kids in the evenings and not be exhausted and feel like all you can do is just, sit on the couch and watch TV. Those are all non-scale victories. Having a blood pressure that has decreased, that's a big one for a lot of my challengers. Those are the things that no number on the scale can tell you. So please don't become a slave to the scale. Don't base your self-worth on what that number is. Start focusing on being stronger, being healthier, having more energy. Those are the things that, in my opinion, ultimately are a true indication that you're progressing in your journey. Well, this is a great question, and this is why when you drive by any fast food restaurant, you see the drive-through line like miles long, because so many moms are in this situation. They work all day and then they have to quickly get their children to practices or games or activities or events, and they simply don't have the time to go home and prepare a healthy, well-balanced meal where everyone can sit down and enjoy it together. But this is something that I am really passionate about. That family meal for me is just like a non-negotiable, because as my boys get older, I am very aware that there's going to come a day when they're not going to be at that table. That's the one time of the day where as a family we can connect. So if you don't have time to go home and prepare a meal where you can all sit down because you have to go directly from work to the event, I would encourage you to spend 10 or 15 minutes the night before or that morning before you go to work to prepare a meal that you can eat picnic style as a family. For example, when our boys are playing Little League, and for us this usually happens on Saturdays, they might have games at different times and we don't have an opportunity to go home for lunch in between. I'll just pack sandwiches and fruit and whole grain pretzel sticks or crackers, cheese sticks, hard-boiled eggs. You can certainly make, on the weekends when you have more time, muffins or cookies, but avoid that concession stand. My kids, it's like they smell the French fries and like they just, are drawn to it. But it's fun to sit, whether it's just put out a blanket or, open up the tailgate and just sit together, have that meal. It's an opportunity to, be together as a family, and it, can be healthy. If you don't have time to, go home after work, pack it and just run into the house and grab it and then take it to go. If you have to, rely on fast food of some kind, I would just encourage you to, if you can, hit a Subway and pick the whole wheat bread and avoid the mayonnaise. Pick as many vegetables as you can, and then, you'll have that and you can eat that together as a family. But there is a quote that I love, and it certainly applies here, that if you fail to plan, then you're planning to fail. So you've got to plan ahead. And it does take a little bit of time, but it is so worth it. And you're instilling these healthy habits in your children that will last a lifetime. And, that to me is just super important. So I hope that that tip helps you and your busy family.